Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, the IYT, the USO, the UUP, and the GLD. We follow the daily, weekly, monthly time frames. We use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. Go to the website, StockBookie.com, sign up for the free membership for more videos like this, email alerts, and trade ideas as well. Go there, sign up, it's free. All right, daily chart of the SPY. So today, not a bad day, guys. 94 cents up, pushing up. Talked about this pattern. Once we gapped up, we said, hey, we're at gap fill. See if we continue up or we go sideways in a bullish manner. We are above the MAs, even a little bit of crossover. Let's see if this 20 MA can start curling up in the price. But again, right into this trend line, that's where it's starting to push it up. And you know, 9 days consolidation, still have a little tail. Still got to see more. Volume wasn't terrible, but I want to see a bigger push up. We are up after hours. I don't know if they got some news or something. But again, we are coming up to the 240.32 all-time high. We cracked through that. We're going up here. So consolidating still. Let's see if we continue to go. Maybe we just slow grind up into that area. We're going to know more next week, and keep an eye on closing above the all-time high on the daily. If you're more on the bear side, this pattern just has to plain out fail, come in, get below the averages, fill the gap, double bottom, and then possibly lower prices. Still a lot of support down here, not too much resistance, so we'll see how this pattern plays out. Like I said, light volume, not bad, consolidating, looking good for higher prices. Okay, that's all I can say with the daily SPY. Let's go to the weekly. Weekly chart, kind of the same picture, but what I wanted to see, if we were more bullish on the weekly, I want to see a close above 240.32, the high. Once we close above there, then we'll look for confirmation if it keeps going. We still have an area here around 243, 244 area. I still think if it does go up and crack through the highs, 245 to 250, we'll have to see how it moves up into it. Keep an eye on the volume on these stocks or ETFs. Let's look at the IWM. The IWM, guys, weekly chart we'll start with. Bullish pattern, guys, above the MAs, starting to possibly move up. We do have a slight topping tail here, but we have a pretty good bullish pattern here, and it is above all the MAs, chopping around. Let's see if we can get above here. If we do, then you're looking at 142.53, and then you're gonna have to go 145, 147.50, and then the 150 if this thing keeps going. So let's keep an eye on this. This is one of the weaker ones, but the daily, it is holding good support. Still a slight bearish pattern now. We'll see how it starts up. We'll see how that is. Went right into double top, guys. Thought it was going. Boom, turned it around. Slight move over and down, sideways, down, sideways. Let's see if this thing goes up, consolidates back to the highs, and then maybe the next move down. Or on Monday, do we just start ripping heads off from the news out in the French elections, I believe. I don't know if this is the final one, but I think it might be. But again, good support, gap fill, 2 moving averages. It's got to hold here. If this does not hold, then you're going to fill this gap down here, go to this low pivot, Still think you're coming down in this area somewhere. And then we'll have to see how it reacts. If it's just a big red candle into it, might be a bounce area to go long for a day or two. So we're looking for setups both ways, guys, long or short. Right now, this is setting up down, sideways, so we're going to have to see more on the charts to see what this thing could possibly do. Lighter volume as well, so who knows? Maybe we just grind sideways and then up, or again, up, or maybe straight down. Three different ways, pretty much. All right, let's go to the Qs. Qs, again, nothing wrong with this. Daily chart. Volume a little bit light the last 2 days, but 12, 13 days up, going sideways for 4 days. You got to respect the chart. 20 MAs trying to chase this up here. If that actually runs in the price, maybe down here somewhere, that could be a really good bullish setup for higher prices. So we'll keep an eye on that. But again, all-time high, sometimes a real tough trade. So you got to watch that as well. But 4 days sideways, nothing wrong inside the bar. Let's see what this gives us next week. Weekly chart. Same thing, 3 bars up. You have to respect this. I would have liked to see more volume on these 2 pushes, but hey, it went up there. We're above price, and we closed above the high of this candle, so that's telling me a little bit of strength. 140 is the magic number. 141 if this thing keeps going. Again, the volume's been pretty light. I'd like to see more action in this on the weekly, pushing up, but hey, it gave us that. We got to try to figure out, okay, is this enough, or are we going to go up maybe in 1 or 2 more bars on this lighter volume? Watch for that to pick up. let's see where this market's going to head next week. DIA. Oops. DIA. Let's go to the daily chart. Daily chart, great pattern. We talked about this for weeks. We talked about gapping up over resistance, gapping up over trying to get over this pivot, just couldn't do it. Now we have 9 days sideways, great tight bearish pattern. This is what I like to see, guys. This thing should start taking off. But again, we're at highs, all-time highs. Sometimes it's a little tougher to do that job. So as long as we stay above the MA, still in a strong stance, ready to start going. We need to get to the 211.59 area and then higher prices after that. Again, this pattern should just boom and go right through. If it gets into there and starts stalling out and chopping, that could be a setup for a next wave down. But watch for that. Higher prices needs to close above 211.59 up into this area and then continue rolling up there. If it does roll, you're looking at 221.51 or so. So you can have a real good pop on this one. I mean, it's 10 points. It's okay. But this is where you're looking at next place because that's the channel that this thing's been in. But again, nice pattern here. But you're still riding these inside bars and stuff, slightly bearish. But let's just give us next week, guys. Need a little more on the charts here. Weekly, though, again, right back into this area, stalling out a little bit. Weekly, I want to see it close above the all-time high, the 211.59 area, and then possible higher prices. Until then, we're going to keep an eye on it. Above the 20, the 50, and the 200 MA, so still fine. Chopping around, slightly bullish, but let's see if this thing can get some more volume into the markets next week to try to push this thing higher through the all-time high areas, as well as the rest of them, guys. All right, let's go into the IYT. IYT weekly chart we'll start with. Down bearish, guys. Down and bearish. We did almost make it above the 20 MA here. You are above the 50 and the 200, so it's pretty good. But until we get back above this trend line, back above the 20 MA, let's look for more chopping around in this one here. Let's go into the daily chart. It shows us a little bit more here. Same thing. Went up, got above the channel, right back in. Now it's trying to shoot up for it. We have the 750 retrace right here. So we're going to know real fast if this thing's going to get through this area, this trend line. Or again, like this area, do they gap it above so they don't have to worry about it? Maybe they even gap it above the 167.85 on the news come the French elections. Wow, think about that, guys. Watch for the gap up on Monday, for all these to gap up over levels. If it's good news, whatever happens, I don't even know anymore. Will it be good news? Will it be bad news? We're going to find out on Sunday or Monday or whatever. So again, channel bearish, slightly bullish, but we'll keep an eye on this one. I do like the pullback. I think this thing's setting up for lower prices as well. Light volume, guys. It's just really, really tough. USO, they had to save this. 955 was a pivot low. And then the next level would have been right around 926. I think one more level down, these guys would have been flipping a little bit. We get to 9, then they'll be like, oh, what's going on? So we have pivots here, pivots there. We did a video on the USO the other day. Go to StockBookie.com. It was yesterday, actually Thursday. And this shows pretty much it was a non-event on Friday. So if you go back, but we were shorting up here, pulled back down there. We are already out of the trade, except for a quarter position of the USO. Still riding that one. I still think lower prices to come, but nice reversal today. Let's see what this gives us, either a choppy pattern or does it continue up the gap fill and maybe get above this trend line, but that's what we're really watching for if you're bullish. And then bam, we could probably come back into here, but one day at a time, we'll see what this thing does. Let's go to the weekly chart. Weekly chart of the USO, pretty much the same thing. We're back below the MAs. We're watching this big trend line here. It did close below there, so but I want to see it close down in the $9.14, $9 area on Monday, Tuesday. You know, down in here. Don't pop back up, or that kind of messes up this pattern for me at least. But gosh, I guess you can even connect the lows down here and do it that way as well. Here, let's do it. So you connect that. Oh, got a fib in there. Let's do this. All right, so we're going to connect this low to this low. So that's going to be another area of support. So let's keep an eye on this one. Right now, it looks like it's breaking down, but we need more evidence on the weekly close. Let's see what next Friday closes, whether they close up or stay below and below this low of this candle. That's very important to see where this thing can be going. So let's keep an eye on this one next week. The UUP. The UUP only 4 cents down. It looks like it sold off at the end of the day. That went down. The market's kind of squeezed up at the end. Pretty much a non-event all day. It started up though and just started kind of just grinding down, and the market started grinding up. So keep an eye on this one. We are into support. Even on the weekly chart, we'll start with that one. So it went up and retraced, making lower highs. Boom, gets in there again, comes right back in, holding the 50 MA on the weekly. A little bit, it closed below though, but it's still right on top of it. But on the daily chart on the UUP, we've been talking about this. We've been talking about it's been coming down, bearish pattern. It's starting to, if it starts to play out, you're probably looking at 24 to 80, maybe lower. We'll have to see. There is a nice gap fill here, right around 25 bucks, and then the next one is 24.33. So we'll see how it reacts right in here, and then see what happens when it continues lower on the UUP. Let's go to the weekly real quick. And the weekly, same thing. And this one's holding the 50 MA here as well. But look at this big trend line down in here. So this is the area right here. I mean, this is what we're watching for. If it has one more leg down, we're watching for 24.33. And at the end of the day, if it really does, you're looking at the 200 MA right at 24 bucks right now, and double bottom over here. Right there. So that's not a bad area too. So we'll watch this thing. If it's coming from a high pivot, so it could damn well come right back down and start hitting these supports of areas of support. Let's get into the GLD. GLD held up strong today. We are right into the weekly 20 MA, tapped it today. So had a nice up move. We took some off the table here, came right back, filled the gap. Now it looks like we possibly could bounce here. Possibly. I'm still thinking down in this area, maybe back to 111.31. But we'll see. We'll see what happens when it's all said and done. Right now, a lot of people probably went long here. They're shaking them up and down, just making them feel some pain. And been there, guys. Been there before. Again, though, good support down in here. Let's see what happens next week. On the Friday close, guys. On the Friday close. And on the daily on the GLD, we filled the gap here, and we're just holding. We have another gap to fill a little bit down below, and then another pivot. So right now, it's just pretty much down. It looks like it's starting to set up sideways. So let's watch for the pattern, or does it retrace back up and fill the gap and then start going again? So right now we're kind of waiting for pattern down. Do we get a down little retrace, or does it continue falling, or do we get a nice push up, fill the gap, and then maybe even get above the trend line and keep going that way? So not much on the charts after this fall. Let's see if it holds, other than it's holding this area right here. And let's wait for pattern and see what it gives us next week. Let's go to the Jnug. Jnug had a little bit of a reversal today, but nothing great, guys. It's still closed below the 1512 area, which would have been the 384, I believe, area before they had the split. So keep an eye on that. Ultimately, guys, if you are bullish on this one needs to start going here. When it does, fill the gap, get above pivot areas, get above the MAs are just key here for this trade. But we are getting a little extended from here. Doesn't mean that this thing comes down, comes down, comes down. This one just chops, 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 chops. But if that does happen, that could be telling me it's going in just like going up. This one's going down in the price. That could possibly send it down. Or do we gap above this one day and gap above that and keep going? So if you're trying to get this thing long, this isn't a bad area you can start adding. But at the end of the day, we might be able to go a little bit lower on the Jnug, and then the GDXJ as well. We're going to look at that one next. But right now, it's not the best close, but it's hanging on to that area with all it's got. So, all right, let's look at the GDXJ. That tells us a little more with the Jnug. And we went into this area here. You know, we went to gap fill, trying to hold it. There is another one down here. That's why I'm saying I still think this one has a little. If we get one flush out to the 2741 area, that's where you want to get interested on Jnug. It might not make it there. If you get it in here or right in there, make sure you have more to add and don't load the boat, because this is a dangerous trade. I know some people in here from up in this area, and they're just getting you know, a little bit hurt right now, and that's no fun, guys. So, all right, light position. We're watching for pattern on this one on the daily. So far, it's bounced. Didn't really give us a big reversal signal. It would have been nice if we would have closed above gap fill area, but that's it on this one, guys. All right, that's it for today. I did a live session. Check us out. Sign up for the website. And thanks again for watching my videos. I really do appreciate it. God bless. See you on the charts.